Hey friends, are you dealing with knee pain in a really debilitating way? Do you ever go hiking or even for just a regular walk and come home and need to ice your knees? I'm here to give you an easy and quick solution. My name is Yogi Aaron and I'm the owner of the Yogi Club and Blue Oaks Yoga Retreat and Spa. I'm also the author of Stop Stretching, a new yogic approach to master your body and live pain-free. Yes, you heard it right, stop stretching. We're on a mission to have people stop stretching here. So the first thing is to understand why we have knee pain. And so there's a couple of reasons. There's so many different factors that can play a role, but at the end of the day, what's really going on is that the muscles supporting the joints of the knees are not working properly. And so we want to get those muscles working properly. Now, a couple of reasons why they may not be working properly is because of stress, trauma, and overuse. These muscles that are around the knee are probably stressed out. And one of the reasons why they could be stressed is because they're being overused. Why are they being overused? Because some of the key muscles that should be doing the job are not working properly. And so you're going to turn on, YouTube, and there's going to be all of these stretches and foam rolling. And at the end of the day, none of that stuff is really going to work. In yoga practice, they're often saying, if you want to improve your knee health, start seeing how far you can squat down and do these kind of like flexibility kind of exercises. Well, flexing or stretching the muscles is not the best way to improve muscle function. Muscles actually are supposed to contract, and if they're contracting properly, the reciprocal muscle, the opposite muscle, the antagonist, will actually start to lengthen. If there is muscle tightness, it's a sign that the opposite muscle, the antagonist, is actually not contracting properly. So coming back to our knees, there's a lot of muscles that are connecting to the knees. The interesting thing is, like the glute max, for example, the fibers of glute max comes into the IT band, which actually comes just on the outsides of the knees. We also have the hamstrings. We have the 4 hamstrings that connect to the knees as well and play a role in knee flexion. There's a lot of muscles that are also responsible for knee extension. One of the muscles is the rectus femoris, which actually attaches at the pelvic bone and comes down and actually wraps over the knee itself. So again, we want these muscles to be able to shorten properly. And when they shorten properly, they actually start to stabilize the joints of the knees. I love to hike, and I actually hung up my hiking shoes right around the age of 29 and 30. And right around that time, I started noticing that I could no longer hike because I would come home and my knees would be swollen for 3 days because of stress, trauma, and overuse. So for about 20 years, almost 20 years, I had to hang up my hiking shoes. But as I started studying muscle activation and practicing it, I slowly got back into hiking. And when I started off, I always wore a brace. For many years, I wore a brace. But over time, I was actually able to get rid of that brace because my muscles, as I got older, ironically, started doing their job more efficiently. So you can get rid of knee pain, but one of the things that I really want to leave with you guys before we get into a couple of the hacks is that you need to have time and patience. Sometimes you're going to notice like a dramatic change very quickly, and their immediate response is to go out and hit the pavement running. And I don't want you guys to do that. We need to move slowly, intelligently, and build up the force tolerance of our muscles and the neuromuscular system so that when there is an outside stress being placed upon them, those muscles are not going to become debilitated right away. Okay? So a couple of the key muscles that we want to start to look at working on, one of them is the psoas. And the psoas is a muscle that connects from the femur bone up into the lower back. And such an important muscle, but it's one of the muscles that I have found that plays a really important role in my knee stability. And if you kind of look at what the psoas is doing, let me stand back up again. The psoas is actually lifting the inner leg upwards towards the lower back. And so if your foot starts to pronate too much. Is that pronating? I always get them mixed up, supination and pronation. But if your inner arch starts to collapse a lot, that's also going to have an effect on the knee and the stability of the knee. So being able to activate the psoas brings a lot of stability to the leg and then in turn to the knee. So you want to make sure that the psoas is activated. Another muscle that's really important to get strong and activated is the glutes. In any kind of exercise you're going to do, it doesn't matter if it's CrossFit, working out in the gym, yoga, hiking especially, walking, going shopping with your friends on a Saturday, you know, and spending 4 hours walking around. All of these kind of activities require you to have glutes that are activated. So those are the two key muscles we're going to talk about and work on today. Of course, there's other muscles, and I would really strongly suggest that you check out my runner's course at the Yogi Club, at the theyogi.club. And there I have a runner's course that you could easily access, and it goes through a lot of these different muscle activations for these muscles and really starts to prepare you to be biomechanically ready and stable so that you guys can go out and start doing these practices. So the first one that we're going to do is the psoas. And there's a couple of different ways to start activating the psoas. We're going to do both of them. And we're generally, the rule for muscle activation is 6 seconds and doing it 6 times. Today we're going to kind of change it a little bit specifically for the psoas. I'm going to show you 2 exercises, and we're going to do each exercise 6 seconds and do each one 3 times instead. Okay, so come onto your back, and what I'd like you to do is just to bend your knees. Now find your belly button and then find your pelvic bone and sort of the space in the middle. Another way of saying that is find your belly button and then come to the right about 3 inches and take your finger sort of diagonally into your gut here. You don't have to go far, maybe ½ an inch, really. It's not, you don't really have to go far. And then you're gonna bring your right ankle across your left knee, bring your left hand towards the right knee. Don't reach up for the knee, just bring the hand towards the knee. And what you're gonna do now is press the knee into the hand and hold for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and back down, okay? So again, this is shortening the psoas and doing that for 6 seconds, okay? And what we're gonna do here, or what we are doing, is reestablishing the connection between the muscle and the brain. Isn't that cool? I mean, like, hello. So again, bring the knee into the hand and hold for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and relax. And do it again and hold for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Now let's straighten the legs out. You're going to externally rotate the right leg, bring the right leg to the right about 30 degrees, and then just lift the leg up about 30 degrees, okay? Now, if you brought your fingers in, you could feel that psoas pop out, but I can definitely feel mine popping out. Lower back down. So maybe bring the fingers in, see if you can really feel that psoas engage. Even as I'm lifting the leg off the floor a little bit, I can feel it engaging. It's so cool. And then hold for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and back down. And then again, lift up and hold for 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and back down. Very nice. Let's do the other side, guys. So bend the knee and find your belly button with your left hand this time. Come about 3 inches over to the left. Bring your right hand towards the left knee, and then bring the left knee into your hands and just hold it there for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then relax. And then do it again and hold for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and relax. And then do it again and hold for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and relax. And one more time, and hold for 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and relax. Beautiful. So straighten the legs. If you want to, keep that left hand there. It's kind of cool when you feel these muscles starting to shorten. And I really believe, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I believe that by actually feeling it, it increases that proprioception. It increases that connection between the brain and the muscle. So that's why I like to do it. Externally rotate the left leg, bring the left leg out to the left a little bit, and then lift the left leg up and hold for 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and back down. And then lift it up and hold for 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and back down. And we'll do it one more time and lift up for 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and back down. Alrighty. So the next one we're going to do here is going to be for our glutes. And when we're working on the glutes here, this is probably my favorite exercise. Now I'm just going to give a few modifications because as you're doing this, you may start to notice that your knee sometimes in some people will bother them. And I have a few theories about why. And what I have found is just because the glutes are not working properly. So if you're a person that is feeling pain in your knee actually while we're doing this, just know it's because your glute actually isn't firing properly and we just need to kind of back off. So I'm going to give a few modifications for that. But this is what the pose looks like. You're going to bring the forehead down. The hands can rest down beside your waist. I sometimes like to bring my left hand to my right glute behind my back and just feel that glute. Now, I want you to engage the glute here and lift the knee off the ground. Be careful not to start to twist your body to lift that knee up, okay? You want to keep that right pelvic bone down, engage the glute, and then lift up the leg. Now, as I mentioned earlier, some of you might notice that your knee sometimes will hurt. If that's you, what I would say is try not, well, first of all, stop trying so hard. Come back to one of the number one rules in AYAMA, Applied Yoga Anatomy and Muscle Activation. And that number one rule is less is more. So let's do less is more this time. And let's do it just with everybody. So engage the glute, bend the knee, engage the glute. Now this time, instead of lifting up as high as you can, lift it up about 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch. Okay, now you're starting to really activate the glute. And then relax. Remember, what we're trying to do here is reestablish that neuromuscular connection between the brain and the muscle, okay? Bend the knee, engage the glute, and lift up the leg just a little bit. Is your knee still hurting? Probably not. And then down. Now, what I'm going to invite you to do is start to lift it up a little bit more. Bend the knee, engage the glute, and lift up the leg. And hold for 3, 4, 5, 6, and back down. Bend the knee, engage the glute, lift up the leg. Good. And hold for 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Back down. Relax, bend the knee, engage the glute, and lift it up. And hold for 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And back down. Let's do the same on the other side now. Bend the left knee. Bring the right hand, if you want, to the left glute. Feel the left glute engage, and then lift it up. Again, if this hurts your knee, if you notice any knee pain, again, it's probably because your glute isn't firing properly. Just bring that knee about 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch off the ground. Really focus on engaging that glute, and then everybody relax. Bend the knee, engage the glute, lift up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and back down. Bend the knee, engage the glute, lift it up, hold for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, back down, bend the knee, engage the glute, lift it up. You probably will feel some of your lower back muscles working here. That is normal. You are shortening those lower back muscles, so please don't worry about it. That's actually not a bad thing, but you do want to try to really isolate the glutes as much as possible. So bend the knee, engage, and lift it up. And hold 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and back down. And we'll do it one more time. Bend the knee, engage the glute, and lift up. And back down. Beautiful, guys. These are some of the ways that you can start to heal yourself from having knee pain. You don't have to live with knee pain. Knee pain usually, not always, but usually is the result of muscles not doing their job properly. The worst thing that we can do is stretch. Stretching those muscles is actually going to make the problem worse. It's going to exacerbate the problem. Improving the function of those muscles is always the solution. And as soon as we get those muscles working properly, I have seen time and time again that not only does the pain go away, but the inflammation usually disappears very, very rapidly because the body feels safe, the body feels stable. And more stability is always going to be a very good thing. So guys, happy practicing and look forward to seeing you in the next video. And remember to get your copy of Stop Stretching, because a lot of these exercises and hacks are in here, as well as some wonderful sequences at the end of the book. Be well.